Yo, welcome to Miracle Mindset for Men, episode 6. Today's title is Dealing with Depression. I am your host, Heru Dre, aka Dre, aka Handsome Heru. So we're going to go ahead and dive in to the topic. But before we do that, I want to give a recap on the last episode. We were talking about what were we talking about? I'm trying to remember what we was talking about, but y'all go back to the episode. I was talking about that. Yeah, I got like a brain fog right now, but it's okay though. So today we're gonna talk about depression and how to deal with depression. Okay, so I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of a story of how I got depressed and how I got out of my depression. And my depression came through a breakup. It didn't come through... Well, actually, it was actually a continuation of a lot of things. But in a nutshell, my depression came from me comparing my life to other people. There was a term that was like a new term that hit the surface on the internet about high value men. And these guys were naming off a whole bunch of attributes of what a high value man is supposed to be. And I kind of felt like I didn't fit that criteria. So it kind of made me feel a way about myself, and then it became a depression thing. It was a point in time in my life where I felt like I was a burden and not a blessing. And I really wanted to take myself up out of here. I personally didn't want to do it myself, but I didn't really care if I lived or not. It was a very tough time, and I think one of the most challenging times about that was when your parents see their kids going through something and they don't know what their child is going to do. Is really heartbreaking. And I don't think it's fair to the parents, for kids to put their parents to something like that. So, that's where the main thing of my depression came from. Also with the breakup and the heartbreak that I had went through. And I remember I was sitting alone by myself. I think I was trying to meditate. It was like a prayer meditation. And I asked God to get me out of this. I said, what do I need to do to get out of this situation that I'm in? Because it was taking a toll on me, and I really kind of felt like I was meant for more than where I'm at. And I just needed an opportunity or some type of guidance to get to where I need to go in life. So he put it on my heart to follow this guy who I've known about, but I never watched his show. Some people know him, Black Magic 363 on YouTube. He has a lot of spiritual leaders and speakers that be on the show. And I just started going on there and listen to some of the people. And we hearing shit. and so after that, I started taking self-development workshops. I started listening to a lot of Neville Goddard. If you don't know who Neville Goddard is, you should look him up on YouTube. He really teaches you the metaphysics about manifesting the life that you want to live. And it all comes within the feeling and living in the feeling as if it's already happening until it becomes an actual fact. It was deep. I was listening to it every single day on my way to work. And I started reading some books, The 4 Agreements, The Mastery of Love, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, Outwitting the Devil, which I'm going to talk about that because that's going to be key to this conversation we're having tonight about how to get out of depression. It's by Napoleon Hill. I think I said his name right. But yeah, Outwitting the Devil. So, 2 years later, here I am. Never really knew what my calling was, for sure. But I knew it had something to do with helping people. Because it always seemed like I'm always the person people go to when they're having problems, as if I have the answers. And I was always wondering why that was happening until, I got a reading through my numbers, and I have healing numbers, and I'm meant to do this. So I just said, well, I might as well just do it. I can't keep fighting what I'm meant to do, because it's like the more I was fighting it, the more it just kept, putting me in a situation where I needed to do that. So, because me, I don't like attention. I don't like being the center of attention. And I just think that I had a fear. I know people say, well, fear is not real, but I just had like an anxiety thing about people watching me and watching everything I do, which is crazy because I modeled for about 4 years. So you would think a person would be used to having attention on them when you walk in a runway and doing photo shoots. But I don't know, I just did it because people said I should do it. It wasn't really something I really wanted to do for real. But anyway, so yeah, I got through my depression by getting mentors. Got through my depression by working on myself in the mental capacity. I worked on my spiritual self. I worked on my emotions, learned how to control my emotions. I've learned, going to the gym to stay physically fit. To if anything I'm going through, I can just let out that frustration on the weights. So it was like I was trying to discipline myself, and I started setting minor goals for myself until they become bigger goals, and I started aiming for bigger things. So that's how I got to my depression, through my depression, out of my depression. And what I've learned in these past couple of years is that depression is not something that you already have. Depression is something that is developed. And your depression is developed through comparing yourself to what's going on around you. So I think that's very important to be mindful and aware that don't compare yourself to what somebody else's life is, because all it's going to do is make you feel like your life ain't worth shit. And that's how I felt. And I'm pretty sure there's many people out there that may feel the same way. So, with that being said, I want to reintroduce y'all to a term that I just came across a couple of days ago. And it was very interesting, and it ties into this topic of depression. It's called learned helplessness. Okay? Now, I've been writing notes. I love to take notes down. I write notes. So I wrote some notes about learned helplessness. So it's a psychological phenomenon where an individual develops a sense of powerlessness and gives up trying to escape or change adverse situations even when they have the ability to do so. So that's what learned helplessness is. And I'm like, dang, that's how depression starts. Because you put in a situation that you feel like you can't get out of, even though you're more than capable of doing it. But because you don't have the confidence in yourself, it will make you feel like you can't do it. And learned helplessness is something that, we are domesticated to as kids, because we have people who don't know about certain things, and they're learning as we're learning. And that's okay. Everybody's not going to know everything, but you do got people out here who know things that can help you better yourself in any way possible that you desire to better yourself in. So, yeah, learn helplessness. That's a term that I want to reintroduce. Like, that term has been around for a very long time. I don't think it's a term that a lot of people talk about, or a term that a lot of people don't even know about. Right? So, actually, I'm gonna read some of the stuff that I wrote down. It can contain a loss of motivation, which remains even once they have the opportunity. A person not using or learning adaptive responses to difficult situations. It can impair a person's ability to handle stressful situations. It's a state that occurs after a person has repeatedly experienced a stressful situation. They believe they cannot control or change the situation, so they do not even try, even if the opportunities for change are available. Now, I'm going to stop right there. Now, you see how depression can kind of, they coagulate in that area? Because you're depressed because you feel like you can't change the situation because you're comparing your situation to somebody else. And now you're like, damn, I want that, but I feel like I can't get that because it seems like it's too much. But you have the capability to get those things. But you don't need to get what somebody else has. You have to live a life that's empowering to you. You have to live a life that makes you happy. You have to live a life that brings you joy and peace. And I think that should be an aim in a lot of people's lives right now, is focusing on their happiness, joy, and peace. And I don't think people are focused on that because they're not even really aware that they even exist. And what I mean by that, people go through life, and I see this a lot. Whether I'm at the mall, whether I'm on the bar just doing whatever, people are always in their phones. It's a whole world outside of their phone, but they're focusing on their phones, so they're not even aware of the things that's going on around them. So if you don't have awareness in the world, you're not going to have self-aware. Like, all that goes hand in hand. And when you're all in your phone, you're looking at everybody else live their life, and you living their life through the phone. Like, go take that trip then. Save up some money. You want them shoes? Go buy the shoes. You want the makeup? Go buy the makeup. You want the car? Go buy the car. Like, nothing is not out of your reach. That is a self-infliction of your. That's a self-infliction. You feel like something's out of your reach because you don't want to put in the work. Like, people always talking about God did this for me and God did that for me. My argument is that I don't feel like God does anything for us. I feel like God gives us the opportunity to get the things that we desire. I mean, because let's just be honest. I mean, God didn't intend for us to pay bills. God didn't intend for us to want makeup, hair, clothes, jewelry, shoes, success, businesses, a lot of money. God didn't intend for us to have all of that. So he's not going to give you something he didn't intend for you to have. But since he's a God who likes to see you and live in a life that you want to live, he's going to give you the opportunity. He say, okay, you want the new car? Okay, bet. I'm going to get an opportunity to get the car. I'm going to put this person in your life. Or I'm going to give you this job. Or I'm going to give you a raise. Or, okay, you got to get rid of something to get this. It's all about a give and take thing. So I hear a lot of people saying, well, I'm one of God's favorite chosen people. And I'm like, well, I mean, that's subjective. But what about the people that's out here putting in the work? They asking God for it. And then after that, God said, okay, yeah, you want that? Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to give you this opportunity to get what you want. You want $1 million? Here's the opportunity right here. You got a refund check. Go invest that money. Let it sit. And then you get your return for the $1 million. So everything is an opportunity. Everything is choice and opportunity. When the opportunity comes up, you have a choice to take advantage of the opportunity, or you have a choice not to. I mean, that's just what it is. So I'm not going to debate anybody about what God did for them or does for them, but I'm just saying God doesn't give you anything he didn't intend you to have. He'll give you the opportunity to get what you desire. That's just my whole argument. Okay, that's that. But back to learned helplessness. Where was I at? It is a behavior that exhibited by a subject after enduring repeated adverse stimuli beyond their control. So like I said before, depression comes from where, you're comparing yourself and you feel like you can't get those things, but you're capable of getting anything that you want in life. You just got to do a little work. You think the people who got what you want, it just fell in their lap? No, they had to go out there and grind for it. Some things may be easier for other people because it depends on their intentions. I mean, your intentions got to be in the right space for you to get what it is that you desire. I'm a firm believer in that. If your intentions is to get money just for you to shit on people, it's going to take you a lot longer to get that money. If your intentions is to get money to help people, you'll probably get a little bit faster. But we're living in a time now, because we're in the 9-year, where things are manifesting very, very fast for everybody, whether it's good or bad. And I think people need to understand that power, and they need to be aware of that power, and they need to know that with that power comes responsibility. Like Uncle Ben said to Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. So it's easier now to manifest what it is that you desire. This is like super easy. So you just gotta, make sure your intentions is right. And I'm pretty sure it'll stick for a long time. And just do right by people. And I'm gonna end it with this, but I think this is important to talk about learned helplessness, because even I've been through it, and I'm pretty sure everybody has been through it. There's 3 common components of learned helplessness. You got pervasiveness, you have permanence, and you have personalization. Okay? So, just to break down each one quickly, pervasiveness is really like the quality of spreading widely. Then you got permanence is the state of quality of lasting. And then you got personalization is the act of customizing a product or a person. So you got to customize yourself. You got to create a version of yourself that you want to be. And that's why it's important that I keep on saying people should read Breaking the Habit of Your Old Self. And the book I want to recommend before I close out this episode is Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. You'll be surprised at the psychological factors that happen, that you're not battling anything outside of you. You're literally battling yourself. You have a part of you that's telling you can't do stuff, and you have another part of you saying that you can, but you're in what this thing is called hypnotic rhythm. Hypnotic rhythm. Read the book. It's very good. It's a very good book. That was an eye opener. So it's like you're having a constant battle with yourself. The devil is within you. You got to learn how to overcome the devil that's trying to tell you what you can't do and control what you can't do. So that's the conclusion of tonight's episode. Tonight's episode was dealing with depression. So thank you for everybody who watched it, and thank you for everybody who's going to be watching it. Trying not to make the videos long, to try to get straight to the point. So if you like this video, please like it. Send me a DM, comment on it. Let me know how you feel. Any questions, comments, concerns, hit me up. I'm available, or at least I try to be available and stuff. And until next time,